Hello everyone, this is Razorflamekun, and today we are going to be doing Dungeon Hearts, and we're going to be doing it on the hardest difficulty. Now, this game's hard difficulty is actually not hard, it's like intense. If any of you should get the reference if any of you watch my Pokemon Puzzle Challenge run. It's about that difficulty. Um, Normal is hard and easy is normal, so it's one step above. Um, anyways, I've been running this game for over a year. I solely do it at marathons now, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. As soon as I press the play button is when time starts. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. So this game, there are 24 stages, one of those amounts. 23 normal stages and one actual stage. At the very beginning, it's a match 3 game, match 3 of the same color, and you get match 3 of the same color, and you get what is called a Hero Striker. The dots are called Hero Chargers. You get 3 of the same color and you get a Hero Striker, and then you can do things like this to get more damage. The damage is the number showing above the boss, and the multiplier is the damage multiplier. The skull and crossbones are the main thing you want to watch out for in this game. When they reach the circles over here, that is when the attack will proc and you will take damage. Almost actually took damage in the first stage there. So the main focus of this speed run is going to be to do combos like that to get rid of as many of the enemy attacks as possible, as well as dealing the most amount of damage as possible as quickly as possible. And so this game also has some variation in the who you fight. Every single time you play this game, you'll fight a different set of opponents to a degree. There are some opponents that each stage has a certain number of opponents it can be, and except for the last stage, which is after the 23 fights, thus the final boss. But yeah, once we get to that part, every other fight is going to be either one of 1 or 2 fights. But so what you're seeing me do right now is just putting together different different combinations to get the most amount of damage in as I can. I want to try and avoid doing single attacks, which is using only one Hero Striker at a time, because they make me lose out on a lot of damage as well as being slow. You may notice that some mistakes that I make, especially with movements, that is because this is a port of a mobile game. Yeah, they ported a mobile game onto PC. But that's Steam for you in 2013. So we've been breezing through most of the fights so far, and you're saying to yourself, this looks easy. The first 5 or 6 fights are easy, but we will be getting new mechanics very soon. Thankfully, that you don't get a pop-up every time you see a new mechanic, because I've already seen all of them. So right here, we now see the purple enemy attacks, and those are enemy attacks that take more than 1 hit to destroy. I'm also going to let you know right now that there are going to be parts during this run that I am not going to be able to talk. Even during some of the normal stages. But I'll still need to focus, but they're also going to be too short to do donations or anything during. So it's just when things get tight and stuff's about to happen. I should probably explain that this is a one and done run, If I die at any point during this run, I am going to be mercy killing this run because I will not have enough time in the estimate to finish the run. So just hope I don't die. I should also explain the 4 heroes. There are 4 different heroes. The blue, the red, the green, and the yellow. The blue is the healer, the yellow is the mage, the red is the fighter, and the green is the debuffer. They also have 4 abilities each, but I will explain those abilities as I use them. I'm not going to explain all of them because that would take too much time. But for right now, it's just going to be more of the same for a little bit. So if you want to fit 1 donation in right now, you can. Okay, so sorry if I cut off the donation, but if you see all of the enemy attacks and other things are grayed out, or not grayed out, but have cracks, that means that they are almost dead, and will only take a few more hits to do to finish the fight off. I believe also in that fight they introduced the gray chargers, which are enemy chargers. Basically what they do is they increase the amount of damage that enemy attacks do. And that's pretty much all they do. You're also going to start seeing squares. Anything square cannot be moved. So that's the first major new thing that they implemented into this run, or this game. One other thing I should mention is on hard, every single fight is timed. If you do not finish the fight in time within a certain time period, then you face a kill screen where you get no attacks and the enemy gets all the attacks. So usually I'm very able to finish the fights before that happens, but most of the time it's not going to be a problem. And the time that you have between each fight is going to be, or the time that you have to finish the fight is going to vary depending upon which opponent it is. After every single time after you finish a boss, or after you finish a stage, you match 3 of the stars together and you get a level. Those are called boosters. For boosters, you want to get every single booster you can. Any that you miss is lost damage later on. Also, whenever you see all of those, whenever you see that happen with the character portraits that show up, that means that the amount of damage was extremely large. A large multiplier, 5 or higher usually. 2 additional things that were introduced in this stage were square enemy attacks as well as hexes. All of the hexes have different things that they do, but again, I'm only going to explain the ones that are bad. Also introduced in that fight are super armored enemy attacks, which take 3 hits to destroy instead of 2 or 1. So it's just, they're just adding more difficulty that way by increasing the number of hits you have to do. I missed 1 level up there, which is okay. But we are coming up to, I believe this is a fight before the first boss, and all three of the bosses are the points, are the hardest points of the game. There's 3 total bosses, and I will let you know when all 3 of them are, because they're going to be good time to do donations during. But in this fight, one thing I should explain is that if you get a square enemy attack, you want to get rid of it as soon as possible, because you can actually move enemy attacks around. Anything that's not square you can move, including enemy attacks and hexes. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when you are playing this game, if you play this casually, is you can move everything that's not square, including enemies' attacks. But this fight is also one of the first is taking a bit longer than I want it to. It's almost dead though, which is good. And instead, let's see, is this the first boss? Let's see. It should either be one now or one stage from now. Let's see. This is the first boss. You can read donations, and I will let you know when the fight's over. Okay, so since this fight isn't over yet, I'm going to explain a few things here. So you've seen me match 3 of the enemy, or 3 of the same color hero charger together. That creates what's called a super striker. That allows clears the entire field and does a lot of damage based upon what is on the field. Other things that you have seen in this fight is you've seen one of the most dangerous hexes in the game, which is the freeze hex. It is the snowflake hex, in other words. Okay, so I'm going to do this now. This is one of the hero fighter's attacks. It's just basically a timing thing. So you have just press it when it's about to connect. When it connects, and you get extra damage. For those, I just spam click and hope that it finishes. Hope that it finishes the fight off. You're going to be seeing that a lot. You're going to be seeing that ability as well as the level 40 ability a lot. But now we get into harder fights. That boss took a lot longer than it should have. That boss could have been done quite a bit quicker, but that's not the case for this. So now they throw another wrench at you, and now you have colored enemy attacks. So anything you see that is colored, a color that's that is a color of a hero, that's hero attack. You have to clear that attack with that hero color. So blue here, I have to kill it with a blue hero striker. Green down here, I have to kill with green, and so on. Overall, overall strategy is to do a lot of high combo attacks, because those do more damage, and the more damage you do, the quickly the easier the fight is, and the quicker it is. So when you also get a bonus to the amount of damage you do if you get all four heroes in on the attack. Right here is another one of the most dangerous enemy attacks in the game. It is the bomb hex, which is up here in the top. Basically what that does is when it reaches the end of the fate stream, it fills that hero's entire row with enemy attacks and chargers, and it's really difficult to deal with. So that's another enemy attack that I try to prioritize dealing with as quickly as possible. And this spider likes to spam these a lot. There you go. That's what he can do. That's what it does, actually. It goes on for a little bit and then it stops. So it's not too dangerous, but it is if there's an enemy attack in the same line. So, as you can see, they just do a lot. They keep doing things that make the game more and more awkward to deal with enemy attacks. They introduce square enemy chargers, and there's still one more. There's still another thing that they're going to introduce, which should be introduced fairly soon. I guess I can get ahead of the ball a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to, because I want you to see how they make life difficult for you. I'm not sure if this guy has it, but I will. It will be very soon before I know. No, I think this guy just has a lot of enemy attacks you have to deal with, including squares. If you ever see me struggle to move things, it's because there are two known glitches in this game, or artifacts in this game as a result of being ported from a mobile game, and that is failing to grab things, and failing to click things, and failing to move things. All three of those can happen. In this game, and no control over it, because yeah, that's what happens with this game. But overall, you're just seeing a culmination of a lot of different mechanics that they have thrown at you in the past, and they just throw a lot more at you, continue throwing more at you, and enemies continue to get more HP, etc., as things progress. Also, grabbing the wrong thing is a thing that they really like to do in this game. But overall, we're doing good. I've only missed one single level up, which is very good. Here's another deadly hex, and that is a haste hex. You may be asking yourself, why is a haste hex deadly? Well, it speeds up the opponent's attacks, and this is not good, so I'm just going to use this to get rid of the board. So this is just another timing attack. Just as soon as you see the white splash is when you can do that, but I had to use that because I was getting too far behind in the Fate stream. And when that happens, it's very deadly. That's life steal. Basically all it does is steal some of my life and replenishes the opponent's life. That's pretty much all it does, so it's pretty harmless. Just elongates the fight a little bit. So whenever I do rapid attacks like that, is to get things cleared out so that I can do more things. But that's your first taste of a deadly encounter outside of bosses. That enemy has a lot of very strong hexes you have to deal with, as well as enemy attacks, and a lot of them are either super armored or regular armored. But thankfully, I was able to get through it without too many issues. Just had to use that one ability to get through it. This also is a fairly dangerous encounter, depending upon what pattern she gives, because she also has freeze hex, which is very dangerous to deal with. One thing you might notice is that if I stack multiple multiple hero attacks on the same enemy attack, it actually does get rid of the more than one hit of that enemy attack. Another thing to note is there are some of my characters have abilities that I've unlocked and bought in the shop, and right now you saw one proc, which is Archer ability that pretty much just poisons the opponent, and that's pretty much all it does. Anyways, you're seeing the final mechanic, and that is a very convoluted mechanic where there are enemy attacks in hero chargers. So as you can see right now, in the red attack, there's the skull and crossbones. If that goes all the way to the end, like that freeze hex just did, then yeah, it actually acts as an enemy attack. Okay, I do not like having to use that, but that skill should be plenty explanatory by itself. I'm not going to explain it. It's one I don't want to use ever, and it's the slow skill or ability. That's all it does is slow things down, and in a speedrun you don't want to slow things down. So far, this has been a fairly eventful run. Quite a bit more eventful than my last couple of runs. Okay then. Gonna have to go ahead and... This is Archer's actual poison ability. It's just you swipe across the screen and you can deal damage and add poison to an enemy. Although this enemy is already poisoned, so nothing to worry about here. So I can already tell you world record's dead. It's not going to happen. I do have the world record in this game at 47xx in-game time. That's not going to happen. I can already let you know. I can already tell you that right now. Not going to happen. This is going a lot slower than it should. We are a couple fights away from the second boss, I think about 2 or 3. But here's another fairly dangerous opponent to fight. It's the Puppet. Puppet has a lot of strong hexes he can use. That should not have happened. I'm pretty sure press the button at the right time. Also, silence is not good because it ruins my. I have to regain all of the stuff that I need in order to use the attack. Hold on a sec. I can't. Okay, sorry about that, but I had to shut up and focus on that fight because that fight was going down the track of almost killing me. One thing to note is at the hexes that you have afflicting you are removed at the end of fights. So that's one thing to note. So Mimic. I'm not liking this pattern already. I am really not liking this pattern. Holy shit. One thing to note is my fighter has an ability that gives him 20% or 30% more HP. So if any of the enemy attacks connect, I want them to connect with the fighter because he is the one that has the most HP with that ability. But you can just see how brutal this game gets at this difficulty level. Also, with every single enemy that you fight also has different patterns every single time you fight them. So I've not seen this pattern ever. And I have never seen the previous pattern, which is why I almost died to it. But I've stabilized and should be able to finish this fight fairly quickly. So again, you're focusing on the squares because squares cannot be moved, and then you want to focus on the hexes that are the most devastating, and then you want to focus on the enemy attacks. All the while trying to do as much damage as you can by combining as many different hero attacks as you can. Quite simple, right? The other thing I'm actively doing is I'm actively trying to look for the easiest way to get rid of all the enemy attacks, including having one hero attack destroy multiple enemy attacks, which is a thing that can be done. As long as you line them up so that it hits all the enemy attacks you want to hit, you can destroy multiple enemy attacks with a single hero attack. Here's the second boss, so go ahead and read donations.
All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me now. I believe we figured out the issue. So we have actually two donations. We have one from TRS Crazy P for $10 saying, Last day of the marathon, 4K hype! And also, a little while ago here, we had this awesome donation from Norimaki SR for $100 with a comment, "Thanks for having me for this event. Congratulations on the amazing support this marathon has generated. I didn't mess up too much in my run, so here's a donation for being an elite gamer." Speaking of elite gamer, let's put this towards that because this marathon needs a theme. Much love, guys, and great event. Looking forward to many more. Thank you so much, Nori. That was amazing. Thank you.
Okay, sorry if I'm interrupting, but I have to go ahead and start talking again. So in this enemy's pattern, this enemy's pattern is extremely annoying to deal with because he usually fills 2 rows with enemy attacks. And the entire 2 rows, and that is what you're seeing right now. And that can one-shot characters like you just saw. Thankfully, we have the revivability on the healer, which you just saw. It revives any characters that die. Any other characters that die, you can instantly revive. They're instantly revived at the end of a fight. And that's not good. But we're fine, because she revived right after the fight was over very quickly. But that's, when your healer dies is when you're in danger of actually dying, because, or when your healer doesn't have the heal ability, or the revive ability, that's when you're in danger of dying. We are very close to the end. There is one more boss, however, during that boss, it is tradition that nothing is read or anything, just silence for the end, and that is because the final boss music is absolutely extraordinary, and the composer's name is Sam English, and he is one of the most underappreciated composers that indie composers. So I want you to be able to hear the final boss theme for this game. Armor Pierce just makes it so that enemy attacks hit harder. It pierces any armor they have, though the armor value is never shown. Again, apologize if I cut any donation off, but there are still things that I will need to talk about at some point. Though it's especially if it's looking like things are going to be pretty dicey. This fight also, I probably should have used one of my fighter's attacks, because I did discover an optimization of using fighters. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use it anyways. Using the fighter's ultimate ability and just spamming this until he dies, because the fighter's ultimate ability can hit like up to 30 or 4, like an extremely large amount of times, and can instant kill enemies. And that's what I should have done with that fight, to cut out about 3 or 4 minutes from that fight. It's usually held for very strong opponents. But I'm gonna start. I will explain the final boss before the final boss fight itself. That is still going to be. That's still a ways away, though. Overall, I think my pace is looking probably not sub-hour at this point. It's probably just going to be over an hour, is my guess, when all the stages are done. Probably at 40 some minutes right now, real time. Anyways, now is more of the same. I'm gonna let you read donations until the swords say 1. When they say 1, I'm going to have to start talking again.
I believe Razor a little soft or is concentrating here, so I can say a couple things. Let's see.
Okay, so I'm going to cut in here a bit early because this fight is one I always see.
I'll just read off our
And it always
organization.
has this
Midwest Speed
pattern.
Fest is a
So,
Minnesota-based
that's one
organization that
thing
has
to
been
note about
hosting
this
speedrun
pattern.
marathons since
This
2015.
pattern is also
And the
very
summer and winter,
bad.
we partner with
This
2D
is a
Con and
very
VGM
slow
Con
fight in
respectively to help
general,
raise money
so
for their chosen
I
charities
really
and bring them
wish
even more
I
entertainment
had
to their conventions.
some
In the spring and fall, we host
of
online
my
events,
hero's
also in support
stronger
of charity.
abilities
So far,
available,
we've raised over
but I also don't want to
15,000
use my
in
hero's
various charities,
stronger
and we hope to see
abilities
that number continue.
because of the fact that I need to save them for the final boss. But it starts opening up around here and starts giving you a lot of opportunities to get a lot of damage in. And then it goes back to this pattern again. This also, this fight also has the haste text as well, which is annoying. It has like 3 or 4 different hexes that you have to deal with. But this fight should be ending fairly soon. One thing I didn't mention is whenever there, for example, there or here, see how there's a blue there? Whenever there's the same color charger of the hero attack that you use, it freezes the screen, and that is heavily, for a few seconds, that is heavily used in the speed run to limit the amount of enemy attacks that get to the end of the screen. Anyways, the final boss. So the final boss is called the Dark One. The Dark One is has all of the hexes. It can use all of the hexes, in addition to the ability to change the speed, to vary the speed of the Fate Stream, including completely stopping the Fate Stream. That's usually done right before he throws a whole bunch of attacks at you. So that's one thing. The other thing is he has his own hex called Nether Breath, which randomly applies it applies 3 completely different random hex, the effects of 3 random hexes on you at the same time. So that is the most dangerous hex in the game, and you don't want it to get to the end of the screen, the end of the Fate Stream. And that is what is also not going to happen in this run. Finally, he can also make the Fate Stream extremely fast. Like, you've seen the Fate Stream vary from kind of slow to a little fast. He can make it extraordinarily fast. Like, to you can speed it up to probably twice the speed of what you see now. So it's just one thing to note about the final boss is the final boss is very difficult. The first time I got to the final boss, the first 5 or 6 times I got to the final boss, I died on hard. Because he is that difficult. However, now he is my favorite fight in the game. Like, my absolute favorite fight in the entire game. And like I said, I'm going to be quiet during the entire fight and let you guys enjoy the final boss music from Sam English. But we still have a little ways to go before we get there. Should be there in a couple of... hopefully after that attack. Not quite. There. So we're heading into the final boss. Enjoy the music, and I will let you know when time is. That was a little dicey, but we finished. Time is not yet. I will let you know. In terms of this scene, he dies and then all of our heroes die. What I think happens, my theory is that the heroes just are reborn in the next timeline, the next time you play the game to fight the Dark One again. That's basically my theory on what happens in this scene. Otherwise, that's the developer. I don't really know. Usually, that fight is a lot cleaner, but I'm able to do that fight a lot cleaner, but not today. Time. So, if any of you are interested in learning this run, there are easier difficulties than hard. It's a very easy game to get into, and it's very cheap. It's $3 or $4. But if you want to, if you want to learn, you can DM me, and I can teach you stuff. Otherwise, just playing the game is going to be good enough for you to be able to learn everything you need in order to be able to do the game